Hey guys, so we are back with another tier list. Recently, the worldwide download celebration has about wrapped up. We are on October 4th at 1 p.m. as I am recording this. So we're basically out of the woodworks here. We know who the next Dokkan Fest is. We got the LR Rose EZA, no Party X or anything like that. So I think now is the time that we can go ahead and look at the summonable EZA or summonable LR tier list. This does include carnivals. This includes Dokkan Fest LRs, and this includes Gold Coin LRs. The only thing this is not including on today's list is the LR EZAs. I could do a separate video for that if you guys would like, but with that, it would be kind of tricky because we would have, you know, Dokkan Fest LR EZAs as well as the Gold Coin LR EZAs. So, moving on from that, we are going to go ahead and just hop right in, right? You guys can see I have all of the units eligible for the top 10 in the honorable mentions category. So whenever we do the whole list, the honorable mention will be revealed at the end. So let's go ahead and hop in. So at number 10, I have everybody's friendly neighborhood Kai Goku. So Kai Goku, I think this unit is phenomenal. And again, with all these LRs in the game at this point, number 10 is a compliment. Kai Goku does a lot of good stuff, right? He has the ability to counter supers. He has guard. He has, like, you know, you're eventually, like, you're seeing a turn with this guy where you're hitting a million defense with guard, and that is just like, you know, an impenetrable wall at most points, right? And, you know, he has an okay leader skill being like the turtle school 200% and whatnot. And what I think is really underrated about this guy, and something that you don't really think about with this guy, like, let's just say we're fighting a tech enemy and you get unlucky and the last attack of the turns, like there's one hit in slot 3 and it turns out to be a super. With this Kai Goku, if he takes, you know, let's say you have 600k HP and you take 700k from the super for some reason, Kai Goku is going to be able to survive that. He has a healing ability when you reach, I believe it is under 40% HP, and then you heal right back up. A very clutch mechanic, and then with guard and like a million defense, this guy is going to be looking very impressive. I think with the recent fights in the game, stuff like that, guard, like with the power creep of the recent difficult fights, guard has become more important than ever because in these new hard fights, especially like the Zamasu fight, you know, you have to be ready to go right away. It's not about being able to build up anymore. And it's a shame because there's a lot of units in this game. Like, even some of these units on this list are designed to build up, right? Piccolo defensively is not at his best until he takes a lot of hits. It's the same thing with Trunks. It's the same thing with the GT duo. They need to super to get their damage reduction. The blue duo stacks defense and they lose their guard at some point. It's like a lot of the units on this list, they are like looking at that spot. So it's like, you know, you do have to be careful with them, but I think that Kai Goku at 10 is a respectable spot on this list. So let's move on to number 9, and at number 9, I have Trunks and Vegeta. Now, Trunks and Vegeta, it is a testament to how well designed this unit is when you look around at the company and you see when this is the oldest unit on the list by a pretty decent margin, right? So like, let's just look at it, right? 8th anniversary, pre-8th anniversary, but barely, by like a month. Tanabata 2023, they came out a couple weeks ago, came out about a month and about like 5 weeks ago, right? These guys, Bulma was post Golden Week, and you know, 8th anniversary worldwide download celebration, right? Worldwide download celebration. It's like Trunks and Vegeta were Tanabata of last year, and they're above some of the units on this list, right? And it's everything that they're doing, but it's also something that's not like in their passive or anything. It's what they do for stats, right? Being the bond of parent and child leader is an invaluable leader skill. Like, it's just, that category is so dumb and gives you so much such a wide array of options for how you can run units and stuff like that. And it's just everything that they do is so, like, it's not really, it's designed very well for the content in the game right now, where, you know, you have the guard, you park them at slot 1, they're building up their defense when they get hit, you have the defensive support when you do the active skill. They're just really, really good, right? And especially if you build them with like a little bit of dodge. If you watch my gameplay, a lot of my no item runs, I have Trunks and Vegeta on the team, and usually it's like their 1 dodge or 2 dodges in a fight that ends up being the difference maker. So I don't want to talk too long about Trunks and Vegeta. You guys, if you've been playing this game, you know that Trunks and Vegeta have been the cream of the crop in terms of how these units have been, and I think it's just a testament to how well designed they are that they're still on this top 10 list. One of the best aging units I think this game has ever had. So they're number 9. Let's move to number 8, which I know a lot of you are not going to like this placement, but I have Tech Zamasu. Now, Tech Zamasu has seen some buffs this celebration, but not to the level that we would want, right? We think about LR Rose's EZA, who was very good, right? Very good, solid EZA. But AGL Zamasu's EZA, very good. Int Zamasu's EZA, very good, right? Defensively, just a wall, good stuff. But again, it's not enough to fill out an entire team where you're running this guy and you're like, yeah, this is the guy, right? Because a lot of the Zamasu team, a lot of the core of it is Int, right? It's just kind of funny to think about, but I think that this Zamasu, like, so the way I'm going to describe this Zamasu to you, so you don't just like click off and say this video sucks, I think he has a kit that puts him like up here, right? 3, 4. But the problem is it's everything else. It's what he's around with. It's the team that he is on. It's just, that is what kind of brings this guy down a couple places. Because you think about the turn 1 that this Zamasu has, it's just, he's like invincible, right? The immortality is really showing when Zamasu in slot 1 with the damage reduction, or turn 1 with the damage reduction and all that. I think, again, if this guy had like just like a completely like reliable on the level of these guys linking partner and something like that, and you really could just run his team at like the level that you could run the future Gohan team on, you could run the GT duo, the Battle of Fate team on, I think that this guy would be a shoe-in for like anywhere from 5 to 1, and that would be a great spot for him. But again, with the domain, it's like his domain is kind of annoying because it's like, again, a lot of the teams, like you can run him on a team, but like sometimes you just want to run him with superclass allies just because the way the game is like power crept and stuff like that. It's like to run a team with viable units, you kind of just have to bite the bullet and bring a superclass ally. And then if you do that domain, it's like, yeah, he's untouchable, but like say you're running like a Future Saga team and you have this guy on the team with this guy, it's like they're just going to be taking so much more damage because of that. And all in all, I think that is why, because he is unless you're running a pure extreme team, he can be a hindrance, but I know you're supposed to do it, but it's very hard to do that in the game's environment right now. So I do have him at 8, but again, I think he has the kit of like a top 3, top 5 unit in the game. So I have Zamasu at 8. Let's move to number 7, which is our boy Sword of Hope Trunks. Now, Sword of Hope Trunks is an interesting case because Sword of Hope Trunks, he, like, when we saw his kit right away, people are like, I don't know, not great, like. But once he kind of got in game and people saw like the attack stats, the defensive abilities that he's able to put up, his standby, and then the attack that he's doing once he gets out of the standby and stuff like that, I think all in all, this is a very good unit. Sword of Hope Trunks you see on a lot of like because like you think about the most difficult fight in the game right now and the fight that everybody's talking about, he has type advantage in that first phase, so you can kind of get away with the fact that he is not like completely defensively stout, right? And I think that really does kind of add value to where he is at this point. So it's like, units get stock up when the hardest fight in the game they have type advantage over, right? We talk about how Namek Goku just sucked when he in like, you know, summer of 2022, but when Cell Max dropped, Namek Goku all of a sudden it's like, maybe he's not so bad, because the hardest fight in the game had a tech boss where you could stack and stuff like that, and then he'd look okay. So I think that would be the case with this Trunks, where the first phase and the most oppressive phase, the AoE, he has type advantage over, and that is always something that can, you know, have some value. So I think 7 is a good spot for this guy, but again, if you want to move him up to 6, you want to move him up to 5, I think that's fine. But as a JP player, I have somebody else that is a JP exclusive at 6, and that is Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Now, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, if you guys watch the streams, you know how much I adore this unit. I think he offensively has a great prowess, especially when you get out of that standby. Defensively, he is good, but he has a fatal flaw that keeps him out of the top 5 range for me, and that is that first hit when you take in the fight. If that first hit is a super in this new content, you're just dead. And it's very annoying because after you take that super, or after you take that first hit and it's not a super, you're good to go. It's like you eat a normal for like 150k, your defense raises, you get your damage reduction going and all that, and you're ready to go. This guy, he gets hit 6 times, he has standby, he gives defensive support when Oob comes out, and then you get into full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and at 55%, you're hitting for like 16 million with a guaranteed crit and stuff like that. Closer to the rainbow level, you're thinking like 27 million or something like that. It is just incredible how impressive this unit can look if you get him in the good situation. But again, being type disadvantage in the hardest fight in the game right now for the second phase, you know, against Merge Zamasu is a hindrance to him, as well as, again, that first hit just keeps him out of that top 5 range just because he really can be on the fraud watch. And it's like, especially right now, because dodge is so prominent in today's meta, whether you like it or not, this guy is somebody that you don't want to put much dodge on, right? I know some people, I don't do this personally, but I know some people that don't maximize their hidden potential on this guy and leave off the 5 dodge node. Like, I've seen an example where a player had 4 dupes in him and left him at 99% to not get the 5 dodge, just because they don't want any chance of losing out on the hits for the standby. I disagree with that method of playing the game. I think always having dodge is nice because you never know when it's going to bail you out of a super. But again, if you guys play this game, or if you have seen, I know there's a video for a world tour on the channel, he is able to beat everything. I used his team to no item the Zamasu fight for the first time. So again, I think Super Saiyan 4 Goku and full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku is extremely, extremely impressive. And for that reason, I have him at number 6. Now, at number 5 and number 4, I think it really comes down to a flip-flop. But right now, for me, I'm going to be putting the blue duo at 5. Now, I am not... So, again, I'll just... Like, the top 3 should be fairly obvious at this point, but we'll have the GT duo at 4. But again, so here's like the duality of it, right? I think that the GT Duo overall is more consistent, but I also think in the AoE portion of the Zamasu fight, they really can get caught, like 300k plus from the AoE at 55%, right? Because I'm evaluating these units on my opinion and where I have them, and some of these units I don't have. I don't have Trunks, I don't have Future Gohan, I don't have Bulma, I don't have Zamasu, but 55% is what I have the GT Duo at, what I have the Blue Duo at, and in my experience using them, the GT Duo is taking 240, 250, 260 from that AoE, because most of the time, Zamasu's AoE, like, I feel like 9 times out of 10 is in the first slot. So that's why this fight is super oppressive, because a unit like this can't build up their damage reduction. These guys can't get a defensive stack in. You know, a lot of these units that need to build up in this game at this point is kind of like they're in no man's land, because that AoE is just going to hit them no matter what. But if, like, let's just say you get the GT Duo in slot, whatever, you get him in slot 5 or turn 2, excuse me, and you have like 10% HP, you revive with these guys and you're ready to go. So I think on the premise of how many times these guys can save you in slot in turn 2 is more like valuable than these guys being put in slot 1 and relying on dodge to save you, right? But it's very close. I think the upside, so it's like when this guy is at like their best and, you know, you have them in Vegito, I think it would look like this. But it's just the fact that I think the base form for these guys is just way more consistent than these guys, is why I would have the GT Duo above the Blue Duo. But when you get to Vegito and you have the active skill and you have the guaranteed dodges, you can put them in slot 1, you'll be good to go. You're doing 5 supers, 6 supers, even 55%. I think that this Vegito, like especially when you transform, is definitely better, but it's the fact that the base form leaves a bit to be desired is why I would have the Blue Duo at 5 and the GT Duo at 4. So now, this is where things get interesting. At number 3, I've got Bulma. Now, I know the Bulma arc in this game has been something, right? A lot of people have her on this undisputed pedestal at 1. There's nobody better. You guys know who I have on that pedestal if you are a loyal, if you're a regular around here, you know. But I think Bulma is extremely impressive. She is phenomenal, because yellow coin LRs are usually not as good as her, and she really is kind of like a mold breaker in terms of what she has brought to the game. I think she's a phenomenal unit. You know, it takes a lot for people to be more excited about a gold coin LR being featured on a carnival unit than the carnival banner. Wow, I can't talk. The carnival banner than the carnival unit itself, right? Because, like, you know, I'm just gonna put them next to each other. Like, this obviously isn't the ranking, but like this guy, I feel like a lot more people on global were more excited for her than they were for Trunks, right? That is kind of like what I was. You know, it just says a lot about how good she is, right? But it's like her damage reduction, the support that she's giving to the team. She just makes a lot of units go. And I think that is super important. But again, it does kind of restrict you. You know, you do have to make sure that you are running, like, she's ran on some really good teams, right? Like the GT Duo lead, she's on that team, and that's perfect. But again, Bulma, I think she's phenomenal. Like right here, like this LR list is basically the best units in the game, right? There's not many TURs that are competing with these guys, and it's the same thing with LR EZAs. Like, I don't think there's any LR EZA in the game right now that's better than Kai Goku, right? So it's like, these are the best of the best, and Bulma is third in that spot, and I think that is a good spot for her. So at number 2, I have Future Gohan, and then obviously at number 1, we have the GOAT. You're gonna have to show me something, Dokkan. If you want me to move this guy, you have to show me something. And so far, even with Worldwide and the anniversary, they haven't shown me that. I just, until you give me somebody that, like, I think Goresh said it really well. He nullifies the game. And when you nullify the game and you're running double Piccolo, and you have 2 potential turns where you take away the boss's ability to do anything but normals, or to do, not being able to do anything but normals, like, it's gonna be tough to move him from the number 1 spot. But Future Gohan, an absolute beast, a wall, he's got offense. His domain, right now, with the way the game is played, this domain is the best domain effect in the game. Not that there's that many, but extreme class enemies taking more damage. It's literally like all but like 2 fights in the game right now of the hardest fights in the game are extreme class, right? You think about the Broly fight. You think about, and again, these have aged a bit, but the Broly fight, the Cell Max fight, Red Zone Omega. You think about Red Zone Metal Cooler Core, Red Zone Cell Max, the old Cell Max event. You think about, what are some other ones? The Zamasu fights. Both of, like, all 4 of the hard Red Zone fights that we got in the celebration with First Form Cell, Rose, Goku Black, and Zamasu, and Merge Zamasu, all extreme class enemies. You think about the Divine Wrath and Mortal Will Zamasu stage, and then it's like literally for super class enemies, it's like the Vegito fight for Divine Wrath and Mortal Will, and then the Sword of Hope Trunks fight, right? So all of those fights are against extreme class enemies, and don't, like, Gohan just makes it stupid, right? Like, again, so like we do a turn where we get the standby on this guy and we go into the revival mode. We have this guy's domain active at the same time, and then we have like some support from Bulma or something like that. And then this GT duo, even at 55%, that spirit bomb that they're doing is hitting like a weapon of mass destruction. Like, it is tough. Like, bosses are gonna have trouble surviving that, right? Especially if you've built them up a bit. It's just everything that this guy's doing with the domain. I think that domain is just invaluable. Now, the counter side to that is that it's hard to get out, but like, again, it's just also everything that this guy's doing. It's the links that he has. Like, make no mistake, this guy's link set is infinitely better than Bulma's, right? Like, he shares 7 links with this guy, and stuff like that. So I have him at number 2, but if you want to do something like this, like, you know, you want to move these guys, that's fine. But right now for me, I have Future Gohan above Bulma just because of the synergy that he has with the team. I think that he is just all in all like just a little bit better, but not by much. So number 1, Orange Piccolo. You guys know how I feel about Orange Piccolo. Damage reduction, a heal for the team, giving everybody ki when he gets hit, being able to go into that giant form, nullify everything, the offensive stats that he has, the defensive stats that he has, the ability to attack lower when it's eligible, the rotation that he has with like STR Piccolo that's basically immortal. It's just, there's so much this guy's doing. And then on top of that, you know, the orange mode, which is doing more damage than most active skills in the game. And also, by the way, that super and that AoE that you're planning to use to take me out, you can't use it anymore. So Orange Piccolo I have at number 1, and then for the honorable mention, I have the Boo duo. Unfortunately, just they take way too much damage right away to really be viable in a lot of these fights, but maybe at the rainbow level and with their standby, they can look impressive, but again, it is tough. I think that this unit really has gotten the short end of the stick with the way that the game has moved in content, and it's really kind of done them a disservice because they have no defensive gimmick aside from stacking, and pure stackers are not really working in today's meta. You gotta have guard, you gotta have damage reduction, you gotta have dodge, you gotta have something, and unfortunately these guys do not have that aside from the standby, which again is not like guaranteed that you'll get it every time. So let me know what you guys think of this list down below. This is my top 10 LRs after the worldwide download celebration. We'll probably revisit this right before the anniversary if anything does change. It depends if we get like a gold coin LR that just comes in and blows us away and stuff like that. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, and I'll catch you guys